has since cleared Kunene of any wrongdoing, and the party says he should be reappointed, failing which they will leave the GNU. Kunene and the party have accused Joburg Mayor Tata Morero of frustrating the process and failing to facilitate his return.
All those who are in coalitions with the ANC, whether it's provincial, whether it's local, whether it's national, including our president as the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, we will then walk away out of the GNU, out of the GLU, out of the GPU.
The party says the ANC in Johannesburg has 7 days to reappoint Kunene if it wants to keep its coalitions intact. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News.
The Transport Department in KwaZulu-Natal is set to outline steps to address issues related to scholar transport accidents. Earlier this month, 5 learners died after their minibus taxi lost control and ploughed into a preschool in Pietermaritzburg. A number of other accidents involving scholar transportation were then recorded, with residents raising concerns as well as complaints. KZN Transport spokesperson Dabizinhle Sibia says MEC Siboniso Duma will be briefing the media on this matter this afternoon.
He will outline interventions on scholar transport following accidents that resulted in the death of 5 learners in Pietermaritzburg. He will further reflect on key infrastructure projects championed by the Department of Transport and Human Settlements.
And Indian security forces have imposed a curfew in some areas after 4 people were killed in violent protests. Yesterday, protesters took to the streets demanding statehood for the Himalayan region of Ladakh. Since 2019, the Buddhist and Muslim communities joined together in demanding the restoration of statehood along with greater autonomy, which could have given them job quotas. According to reports, a committee set up by the federal government is likely to meet leaders from the region early next month. Gold is trading at $3,756.17 an ounce. The rand is at 17.30 to the dollar, 23.27 to the pound, 20.32 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.14 a barrel.
Well, at this hour, if you're leaving Alex heading towards Midrand, there's slow-moving traffic in Calvin, N3 northbound between Marlborough and the Butler interchange. Also leaving Edenville heading towards the Germiston Alberton area, bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N3 southbound between the Gilulis interchange and the Galdenays interchange. Also heading into Aldo's, there's roadworks causing some delays. That's in Devland on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The Road Accident Fund has announced the resumption of payments to outstanding claims, starting with those older than 180 days.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. Guys, it feels like a Monday. It really feels like a Monday, but it is not a Monday. It is Thursday, the 25th of September. Those of us that worked yesterday on the public holiday, halala, the rest of you, you better have saved some bride meat for those of us that were working. I hope you enjoyed your Heritage Day. Coming up on the show for today, I want to find out about the challenges of dating somebody who is in a different tax bracket to you. And I'll explain in detail what I mean by that. But somebody posed such an interesting perspective that I had to be like, no, I'm bringing it to my 702 family. Belief matters. What usually happens to a cult and its followers when the leader dies? We'll be joined by Professor Maria from ARP. who is professor from the Department of Religion Studies at UJ, the University of Johannesburg. Then we wrap up, as we do on a Thursday, with Wendy Nolan, our consumer rights feature, Nolan Knows. We're going to talk about when AI gets it wrong and the dangers of blindly trusting ChatGPT and other AI tools. And of course, we'll tend to your consumer rights issues. Get in touch with us. Give us a call, 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
How do you feel about being in a relationship with somebody who is in a different tax bracket to you? And let me take it a step further. Your financial problems are different. And I mean levels of different, right? Because you get financial problems that are, we're not sure what we're eating tomorrow. But you also get financial problems for different people that are, I really want to go overseas at the end of the year. They are completely different financial problems. Now, a gentleman was presenting a case to say his reason for not wanting to date outside of his tax bracket is because our problems are not the same. Now, I didn't see him sharing it. I saw somebody responding to what he was sharing, and it really got me thinking because people were touched and were hurt. And I know when it comes to mjolo and dating, it gets very sensitive around money, particularly when it comes to, the gender wars that continue. This is not that conversation about what do you bring to the table or are we going 50-50 independent? No, that's not the conversation. The conversation is the fact that a man shared his preference to say, I no longer want to be in a relationship with somebody who's in a different tax bracket to me, because when I'm crying about X problem, their problem is a different problem, which makes the scale tipping becomes a problem. But let me share with you Lundi, the life coach. I follow her on TikTok because I absolutely love her take. And she explained it so beautifully. This thing of dating below your financial bracket and the problems that come from it. And it's easy to miss the point if you're not trying to hear the message. And now when I heard the message, I said, I get it. Take a listen.
I saw a video that made a lot of ladies uncomfortable. The guy saying he can no longer date below his financial bracket. And there were so many ladies who were angry. And I think we missed the point. He said, the moment you get to a certain level financially, someone else's problems feel like a burden to you and your problems feel like privileged problems to them. Then he made an example. He said, I will be stressing about not having enough money to travel. For example, 5,000, the boys are going to Cape Town. And this person, because she still has serious problems, will say, you have 5,000 to travel. I could buy groceries. Also, buy problems is serious. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having serious. We have different problems in different degrees. But the moment you elevate and stop having the problems of groceries and start having problems of traveling and problems of the car and problems of wanting to change your tires, your problems become unnecessary to this other person. Your problems become watered down. You can't even have authentic conversations because, my mom didn't eat. My medication for my uncle. No. Now you can't say, I need 5,000. Yes, I want to buy myself a perfume. Because what type of perfume costs 5,000 rand when we don't have food, Ekai? So he was saying that he has learned that it is better to gravitate towards people that are in your own tax bracket so that you guys can understand each other and not water down each other's problems or lifestyles, where now you have to be dragged to go help this person. He further said, when I take myself out of a hole, and these are not his specific words, this is what I heard. When I take myself out of a hole, why would I want to go back into that hole now being pulled down by someone who has not pulled themselves out of that hole?
She articulated it so well. And I got it. I was like, I get it. Can you imagine having that conversation with your partner? That to them, your problems seem like privilege problems because they are dealing with a different level of problems. It doesn't make any one person better or lesser than the other. All it is the fact that because we are dating, we want some kind of relatability. It's a different story now if you start at that level and things change along the way. But I want to hear your perspective on this concept of dating below your tax bracket in such a way that you're unable to be free and talk about the kinds of problems that you have. Because somebody might have I just need 30 rand to get to work problems, and somebody else has I am shorting with 50,000 rand for my monthly society problems. They're not the same problems. So does that make the relationship dynamics awkward? Does that make it uncomfortable? Because as she used the example, when now you're saying, I'm going to buy a 5,000 rand perfume, and you're telling a person who's worried about the fact that there's no food at home. I get where he's coming from. I have to be honest. And I would not blame a man for feeling that way. What has that experience been like for you? 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 702 if you are dating out of or dating below your tax bracket in such a way that your problems seem like privileges, or maybe you are the person who was dating above your tax bracket. What was that experience like? 011 883 0702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
You last released an album, was it in 2015, if I'm not mistaken? And there are artists who do get worried when they haven't released in a while. You know, they get a bit worried. Oh, okay, we have to think constantly around when are we releasing music? How do you approach that as an artist?
So that's right. I mean, my second album from now on came out in 2015, and then Undilapa only came out 2024.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of artist who I don't want hyper visibility. I don't want to be a machine that's churning out music all the time because I want to stay relevant.
Nomfundo Aluva.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
The heart of Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 beats loudest on the Dina Ladies stage, proudly powered by 702. Esperanza Spalding shines alongside Tandine Tuli with Black Elijah and the Children of Moreau, and sax queen Lakeisha Benjamin. Feel the soul of Nomfundo Xaluva, the power of Steve Dyer's vision of Ubuntu, and the big band fire of Sia Makuzeni, with special sets from Andile Yanana and Cameron Ward. It's happening September 26th to the 28th at the Sandton Convention Center. Tickets are selling fast via Ticketmaster, so you get yours now. The Dina Lady stage at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025, proudly brought to you by 702.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster with 40,000 rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of APSA. T's and C's apply.
Hi. I need balloons.
Sure.
Now, my dog barked. Pretty sure he said potty.
Okay.
He was like...
At the Crazy Store, you'll find every excuse to celebrate.
Hi, me again. My houseplant survived another week. Where's your confetti?
And everything you need. Helium, gift wrap, dress up.
Glitter hearts!
And more. The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find. To have a good party.
Oh, hello. Let's do a little word association. I'll say some phrases. You see how they make you feel. Retirement, credit card balance, another interest rate hike. Still calm? Well then, you've got the F Factor. It's that special something that comes from having a clear financial plan to manage and protect your finances. If you broke into a sweat, you probably don't have it yet. Visit livewithconfidence.co.za to up your F Factor. Sanlam. Live with confidence. T's and C's apply. Sanlam Life is a licensed life insurer and authorized FSP.
Back by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
The Akani Simbine Foundation is dedicated to building brighter futures for children by focusing on sport, education and welfare. This Friday on 702 Drive, we'll be in conversation with the Akani Simbine Foundation to find out how they're uplifting the next generation and how the Dis-Chem Foundation is helping fuel their mission to empower South Africa's youth. Don't miss this inspiring discussion about the power of collaboration. Remember, every swipe of your Dis-Chem or Dis-Chem Baby City benefit card supports many great initiatives across the country. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts. Only on 702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
20 minutes after 1 o'clock, we're talking about dating below your tax bracket and the challenges that can bring into the relationship. After a gentleman was sharing that he no longer wants to date below his tax bracket because there's certain problems that are no longer the level of problems he's dealing with, and it would make it tricky if he's worried about getting a 5,000 Rand perfume while somebody's worried about not having food at home. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Let me remind you, Sofia Vergara, the actress, also would say dating somebody with less money can actually be quite a nightmare because of resentment, and financial equality makes it easy in relationships. And there's a Gen Z's financial priorities are showing in a 2025 survey that 46% of Gen Z respondents would prioritize long-term financial stability over actual romantic love, indicating a growing emphasis on financial compatibility in dating. And then the actress Lisa Ray McCoy was saying that she can't date broke because she believes in financial compatibility. She was expressing to say, if it takes a man's entire paycheck to take her to lunch, he can't hang with me because that becomes a problem. Now she wants to travel, but your entire paycheck is what you're going to be using to take me to lunch. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Nombulelo from Rudaport. Hi.
Hi, Relebogile, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good. Lalela, no, thank you. Yeah, dating with different tax brackets is horrible because then the person that's on the lesser end ends up learning such manipulative tactics. It's not even about lessening your problems. You see, if you would lessen act like my problems are nothing and leave it at that, I'm happy with that. I was married into that, and the guilt tripping, the emotional abuse that comes with that, where you want to buy your tires for your lovely German car, and it's like, no, my car needs an engine. Okay, great stuff, work for it. You'll be able to fix your engine. Oh no, but you can still drive. You're not thoughtful. You're not. Oh no, emotional abuse is what just kills
yeah.
The whole deal for me.
And you don't feel like, do you feel like there was an expectation of you to do more?
It's not even an expectation. It's a entitlement. Because expectation, it's my daughter expects me to pay school fees for her. But an adult expecting me to be fixing isn't as I don't see it as an expectation. It's an entitlement.
Okay, I hear you.
And the day I woke up and said, hi, Bo, I only have 2 kids. So now why is this adult man now also my kid? Where he knew when he met me that Minandila and the Yena Ula and they live within your means, and Mina, I will sort out the house because I know where I want to live. Yes. I will sort out my car because I know the car that I want to drive. I will sort out the kids because I know the type of schools I want my kids to go to. When your lifestyle, you sort out your lifestyle. I'm not going to be paying for, if we go out and I want to buy an expensive bottle of wine, I'll pay for it because it's for me. But I'm not going to be sponsoring your lifestyle.
I hear you. Yeah.
And then it becomes a minute. And I think the only time it started becoming a problem was when there was the manipulation, the emotional manipulation, the moods, angry. Oh, when now you've upgraded your car, then I was like, what? No.
Yeah, that
No
sounds
way.
very,
No,
very tricky, and I can only imagine. And thank you for that call, Nombulelo. That it becomes awkward because society is structured it that the man should be handling majority of things, even though we know in reality that's not really the case. Sammy in Centurion, what are your thoughts? Hi.
Hi, Relebogile. I also agree with the TikTok video that says that you must date within your tax bracket, because when I get into a relationship with someone, I want someone who I'm going to build a future with. And that includes financial contributions towards the household. You know, I don't want someone who's going to be lagging behind. You find that I'm the one who's paying for medical aid, I'm the one who's paying for the house bond and the motor finances, where she's only doing towards the groceries. I want someone who's also going to reciprocate the things that I do for her. If I buy her expensive gifts, you're also going to be able to buy me expensive gifts. I want someone who will contribute as much as I do towards the relationship. And what most people don't know is that relationships, even if you are not married, at the end, they have legal consequences, because if you're dating someone who's, say, like if I'm maybe a data analyst and I'm dating someone who works at PKT, right?
Yes.
Obviously, this is going to be used to a certain type of lifestyle because of what I'm introducing her to. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a data analyst, obviously we're no longer going to be hanging at Mam Jabi's Tavern. We'll be hanging at expensive outlets, you know what I'm saying? And then when the relationship comes to an end, that person, because of her poor financial status and what else she got accustomed to as a result of a relationship, she can always go to court and claim maintenance. That's a reality that most people don't know. So if the person is within your tax bracket, the likelihood that they will run to the maintenance court when the relationship comes to an end is very minimal, because they are also within that financial bracket. So you don't have to. You won't have any legal ramification as a result. So it's just best to date within a tax bracket to avoid a whole lot of mess.
All right, I hear you completely. Thank you for that, Sammy. And I mean, as a man, I can understand the economy, guys, requires dual income. Like, for people to survive, it requires dual income. There are very few people that are surviving on a single income household, even though there are because of unemployment. But the ideal scenario is dual income. Cecil in Rudaport, hi.
Hi, guys.
Get in one okay?
I'm good, thanks. Listen, and I'm not taking anything from the first caller, but what she has alluded or spoken about sort of gave me that toxic femininity where I have money. Look, we all get into relationships for whatever it says. So when we speak about finances in the relationship, I may earn 1,000 rand and you earn 10,000 rand, but I am the more financially responsible one than you are. So you see, this whole dating within your tax bracket, look, it has its perks, but also it grounds for a very, very, very toxic relationship when it comes to money. Look, money is the most important part of the relationship after love. So I would say date a person that has got ambition and you can see growth. Not a person that says, when I win the lotto, I'm going to do this. But a person that is saying, look, I was earning 1,000, I'm earning 2,000, and there's growth.
I'm curious, Cecil. Help me understand the part of what you're saying about the toxic thing, because I'm struggling. Which part of what she was saying is it the fact that she feels that the expectation of the partner to do certain things is toxic? Like, which part of it is toxic, so I can just understand?
So also, look, we all go into partnerships, né? And the minute we get married, we become one. So you cannot be telling me I own a BMW and I will maintain my BMW because I work for it.
Wait, hold on for 1 second. So the reason I'm pausing is because we're not speaking about marriage. We're talking about dating outside your tax bracket. So my assumption, the measurement that I was using was dating. Are you looking at it from a marriage perspective?
So I'm also remember, there is no switch that turns a girlfriend instantly.
Do me a favor, Cecil. Pause for a second because we need to go to the news, but I also want to make sure we have you on a better line so I can hear you properly. Stephen and Thandi, I see you. It's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. The Hawks have once again pounced on Joburg City Power's headquarters, this time seeking details about a questionable 67 million rand contract. It's understood the probe is linked to a purchase order for electricity transformers in 2023, but well-placed sources have told EWN that although 67 million rand was paid, the transformers were never delivered. The Road Accident Fund has announced the resumption of payments of outstanding claims, starting with those older than 180 days. The fund estimates the total value of claims in this category to be more than 20 billion rand and says over the past 2 weeks it's already paid out more than 3 billion rand of these. The announcement follows last month's appointment of a new board for the entity. And the South African Weather Service has issued a yellow level 2 warning for severe thunderstorms in some parts of Gauteng and the northwest. Disruptive rainfall that may lead to localized flooding is expected to make landfall this afternoon. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 2, or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Take A Lot. Happy delivered.
Well, at this stage, Relebogile, if you are heading towards Germiston, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the N3 southbound between the Linksfield off-ramp and the Geldenhuys interchange. Also coming into Bedfordview from the Edenvale area, bumper-to-bumper traffic. R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. In Calvin, that's leaving the Alexandra area heading towards Midrand. Also traffic a bit sluggish on the N3 northbound. That's between Marlborough Drive and the Betlu interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights. That's in the Ren Park Ridge area, Beyersnodie and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Traffic is trafficking. The robots aren't AI, but more like an eye roll. And service delivery isn't delivering. But luckily, Take A Lot is. Shop anything from beauty and sport to tech and toys at everyday low prices and get it delivered to your door faster than you can get home, even when you take the back roads. A delivery so quick, the speed thrills. Halala with no limits, just the open road of happiness before you. Take A Lot, happy delivered.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
You're talking about the single parents who are heading the family. I'm talking about the child-headed kids who are really wounded. When one wakes up, there's no one to guide you what to do. We have a lot of those kids because I can assure you, Bongani is a losing battle. So if those kind of kids can have somewhere to go to and be able to be grounded.
You've hit the nail on the head because we often look at the problem when it's too late and there's so many layers to this thing.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
This isn't an event, it's a statement. When you choose Thirst mobile bar services, you choose confidence without spectacle. These discreet mobile bars come with expert mixologists and service that speaks louder than words. Every detail refined, every pour intentional, every guest remembered. Thirst mobile bar services, the perfect ingredient, the perfect outcome for those who expect more and settle for nothing less. Secure your year-end date now at thirst.co.za.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options, from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity, a steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time. Medication taken as prescribed. Cut the rhythm, and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders. We go there.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
This is your business. Hooray! This is your business supercharged with the help of Zero accounting software. Hooray! This is your business supercharged with the help of Zero, finding you have more time to focus on things you love and not endless admin. Supercharge your business today.
Search Zero with an N. 702 and Corporates That Care with Netcare are talking about Netcare's My Walk Made with Soul initiative.
This was an initiative that began in 2015, and a lady by the name of Delani Bezadenhout visited us and said, look, I hear Netcare is very involved in sustainability initiatives. Would you be interested in recycling your intravenous drip bags because they're made of a toxic material called PVC? And in passing, she said to me, you know, possibly we could also make shoes. My appeal is that we've handed out 328,000 pairs of shoes. And so my appeal is for South Africans to get together and come onto our website, mywalk.org.za, and donate the cost of a cappuccino. Maybe you can donate 10 shoes.
Netcare, helping future leaders step into greatness. Visit mywalk.org.za to learn more. 702, let's walk the talk.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
Lines are always open.
On 011
883
0702.
23 minutes to 2 o'clock. We're talking about dating below one's tax bracket after a man shared his preference to say, there are some problems of mine that will seem frivolous because you might be worried about survival problems. So I want a 5,000 Rand perfume, and that 5,000 Rand perfume is going to seem ridiculous to you because you're worried about there not being food in your fridge at home. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Before we went to the news, I was chatting to Cecil, and he was responding to a previous caller who he was saying he's concerned that it's becoming a toxic thing. So I was trying to just get understanding on what specifically was toxic. Cecil, all right. So just pick up from the part where you were saying, explaining to me which part of what she said is toxic.
Okay, let's go back. And one, she said she was married. Ne?
Yes.
Two, she said she was married and she divorced. Okay, but let's take the point that you made about dating. Ne? We all date with the hope of progression. So
yes.
My girlfriend is soon to be my wife, right? And if I don't build a strong and steady foundation from the dating phase that we are both partners, that, you know, we are going to go into something that will last forever. There is no switch that would make my girlfriend my wife after we are at the altar and she says I do, and when I say I do. So going back to that, we all go into it knowing What I am against is a person, I would say, I would date somebody that shares the same vision as me. We may be in different points in our life, but if we're sharing a same financial vision, because you wanting to buy a 5,000 rand perfume, and yet I've got more than you in savings. It's when you look at it, I'm the more financially savvy one. So I know comforts are very important. We all work towards having certain comforts in our life, but it shouldn't be a measure we use for relationships.
I hear you. And I think I get the point of what you're trying to say is at the end of the day, we're going to put it all into one pot, and it's about the mindset and the attitude. The beauty about dating is everybody gets to choose who they want to be with, irrespective. Everybody has their preferences. There's that saying in Afrikaans, elke something. Every pot has its lid. So I don't take it personal because I think everybody will find their person. Thank you, Cecil. Tandi and Santon, go ahead.
Hi, Azrile.
Yes.
I have a different view on it, right? So I'm currently in a situation where the person I'm seeing is of a lower tax bracket, right? So I'm obviously mindful of what they're able to afford and what not. But what I started doing and how I chose to look at it is to say that rather than maybe splurging on myself, which I know obviously is going to be pressure on that person, let me do a cost-saving exercise, right? So now I'm actively looking at places where they do like dinner deals, maybe let's say maybe a dinner for 2 for 500 rand. Then I know that for fact, that person, they're not going to feel as much pressure, right? While I learn them and understand and see if they're able to take me, right? How do they deal with someone who's of a higher tax bracket than them? If it doesn't work out, then at least I know, right? I would have accomplished what I need to do with my money because I'm not now overspending, right? So that's how I'm choosing to look at it right now. And so far, so good.
Okay. And for you, you don't see any challenge where it feels like your problems seem frivolous compared to their problems?
No, I choose. So what I do is I'm very honest from the beginning. So let's make a simple example, right? Kanye, right? I don't know how much is the ticket, but let's assume it's 6,000 rand, right?
Yes.
I'm a person that likes going to such things. So I'll tell you beforehand to say, hey, listen, I'm going here. I don't expect you to ask me to now foot your bill to attend the same Kanye concert, right? So if you have an understanding on that, there's some things I won't skip on myself because I've been doing them with or without you, right?
Yes.
But also the part of Mujolo is you're getting to learn that person to see how exactly they cope and how they react, right? So out of the 6 months down the line, and you can see, okay, fine, this person is now uncomfortable or whatnot, then as you said, Mujolo, I have a right to walk away, to say, okay, fine, this is not compatible, it's not going to work, right? Because there's no commitment. There's no real proper, strong commitment. But that's how I'm choosing to go about it, to say, you know what, let me just be mindful. I mean, I'm not going to forgo an opportunity where I see because this person is, they treat me well. There's other aspects about them that I love, right, that I would not get from someone who's probably of a higher tax bracket than I am, right? So I'm also trying to be mindful of those things. So I don't want to rob myself, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, instead of looking at it in a negative way, let me try, see, maybe save my money to do other things I need to do and then go on those quote-unquote cheap dates, right? Where we both would be comfortable.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you so much, Tandi in Santon. We now go to Stephen in Cosmo. Stephen, go ahead.
Hi, Relebogile. This guy and I used to date twins from the East Rand.
What?
They both worked.
Okay, sorry, it took a while because I'm like, are you dating the guy or are you dating the twin?
No.
You and a guy were dating a set of twins.
Yes, from the East Rand. That part is very, very important.
Okay.
Now,
I just know the shade is coming for the East Rand. Okay, what happened?
The guy had a fully paid house, fully paid car. All right, it was no problem. Well, I was obviously trying to get my life in order, but I used to help there and there where I can. Problem is Tomile when now the guy was obviously supporting Kwana. I was building Gobo. So then I was forced to create it, but I saw it quickly and then I decided let me just stand afar and see what's happening. Now the breaking point was when this lady, this one twin,
Okay.
So why not you? Why are we investing in your mother? Why? And this other time I went there, at least impress the guy, this other guy,
Yes.
building material, yeah. So I feel like Ariel TV.
Yes.
Le remote, kapais and nakabuti so TV guy.
Yes.
That's where the mother and the other twin, I don't know, we're hoping for it when we wreck it. That's the problem. You see, yeah, there is a problem there.
So did you buy the TV? Did you buy the TV?
That's when I left. And then a couple of months later, I found the guy, Shem, he was now unemployed. You see, Arabic certain calls. He was just deep in debt because of such. So I just want to warn all the guys out there, please be careful. Beautiful ladies, Basa Bereking Bana, especially from the East End. Thank you so much.
Especially from the East. I can't believe he asked where the TV is. Godfrey Santon, hi.
Yeah, Relebogile, how are you?
Sorry, I'm so finished.
I
man, banyana ba East Rand ba ba nkele la bona ya no.
The reality.
Hey.
Reality. Relebogile, in my view, I'm in support of what Nombulelo has just said. The dependency syndrome in a relationship is dangerous. I should not come and date Relebogile and want to change how your life is.
Yeah.
I should either be part of the plan where you are and being happy, not to come and want to modify it the way you want. And dating does not mean you now declared to take some parent's responsibility. You met with someone, they've been using their phone, you met them today, tomorrow morning they say their phone is not working, you must replace their phone. I mean, what's that? Does not make sense. You go in a restaurant, you are driving in my car. When I get there, I need to pay for everything. Yes, the first or second time I will do, but I would like to look at you. How would you reciprocate what I'm doing for you? It can't be correct that you keep on taking. When will you ever be able to deposit and say, you know what, I can see I can't afford the lifestyle that you want to give me, but this is what I can do for you. You know, it's not about the value. It's about the gesture of the person, what they do. Then it can give you an idea as to what could they do when they are in a better financial position.
Yes, I hear you completely. Completely.
There would be those people who would have that kind of money, but they believe in taking without depositing. That is what makes the relationship sour. Because at the end of the day, as a man, I would take a first step to say, Relebogile, this is where I want us to go. And Relebogile tomorrow would say, you know what, I can't afford that kind of a level, but this is what I can do. Immediately you start seeing to say, okay, Relebogile would be a better person if things were sitting in a different level, but this is what she can do. That willingness is what is needed in the relationship.
Yeah.
So
You want to
that.
see an effort within the person's means. I hear you completely. Thank you so much, Godfrey. We've got your voice notes coming through on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. Vonla here. Can I take it a step further? Also, with education-wise, yeah, don't go too low in terms of your education, because also the conversations become weird. Hey, you find there's a certain point or a certain topic that you need to discuss at a certain level of understanding. Then you realize that you are not there. The other partner is not there, so it becomes very difficult as well.
Hi, Relebogile, I hear you. But it's such a sad situation, you know. We live in such a materialistic society that we can even be discussing something like this. So what happens if we are in the same tax bracket and one of us loses their job? What happens? Must the other partner dump the other one? Or in the case of a married couple, then one of them loses a job. Then must they divorce because now they're in different tax brackets? Ooh.
So the way I understand it is this. If you are married to somebody and you have 5,000 Rand perfume problems and one person loses their job, you have already established a rapport with one another, that person talking about their 5,000 Rand perfume problems is not going to be a shock to you. If that makes sense. Relebogile wants to travel abroad. My travel standards is I want to go overseas. But if a person has not lived Soweto, it's going to make us talking about travel difficult. But if we're married and then within the marriage, the person loses, our levels might not necessarily change. So I'm not saying you must divorce, but I hear what it is you're saying. There are messages. Lebo, that was me and my ex up to this day. He resents me. Just this week, he mentioned on email again, no ways I'm dating below my level, never again. Another one says, Relebogile is such a great topic. I've dated lower as a woman multiple times. It's not easy. Men's egos and believe that they are providers is tough. They are uncomfortable, and you end up lowering your spending habits so that they're not uncomfortable or hiding certain purchases. I had to suspend my trips, etc. Kuningi, and you could have similar values, but the difference could really be big enough to have uncomfortable conversations. Going forward, for me, the difference can't be more than 30%. That's from Nomvula. Anonymous says, I'm dating a lawyer. I'm a domestic worker. I didn't ask anything of him, and we are doing just fine. Again, this is not prescriptive. Everybody must choose who they want to be with. And I do believe that love conquers all. Love really does conquer all, and I don't blame people for having preferences. But every pot has its lid. Find your lid out there or be the pot for somebody else. Thank you for your calls and your messages.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
We are saying that if I'm not appointed within 7 days, obviously looking at the process of IEC, all coalitions, all those who are in coalitions with the ANC, whether it's provincial, whether it's local, whether it's national, including our president as the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, we will then walk away out of the GNU, out of the GLU, out of the GPU. The ANC in the region has instructed Dada Morero to appoint a PA candidate. Yes. He defied them.
Kenny Kunene. John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is fast approaching. This premium entrepreneurial showcase will return to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November, with international and local speakers sharing groundbreaking insights from their entrepreneurial journeys. With 2,000 plus delegates and over 200 exhibitors all under one roof, you can experience the extraordinary world of thriving entrepreneurs and business owners. Get your ticket now for 1,800 Rand each for the 2 days at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Get online exclusive Unreal deals for 4 days only at Pick and Pay ASAP and Mr. D. Get 200-gram Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee or a 230-gram refill for only 99 Rand 99 each. And assorted 800-gram Clover cheese for only 109 Rand 99 each. Get hundreds of Unreal deals delivered by Pick and Pay ASAP and Mr. D. Valid 25 to 28 September while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Swing into spring with Hollywood Bet Spinner Zonke, where a sea of floral fun, epic adventures, and blooming beautiful games await. Reap red-hot riches and whimsical wins with our sparkling spring-themed slots. The season's luck is in full bloom, so dive in and grab your chance to unravel an endless supply of thrilling treasures and claim sensational rewards when you bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
702.
Belief matters.
Exploring culture, traditions, religion,
and the beliefs that shape our world.
Belief Matters time at 7 minutes to 2 o'clock. And we are talking about what happens to a cult and its followers when the leader dies. Professor Maria from ARP, professor from the Department of Religion Studies at the University of Johannesburg, joins us for this conversation. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Professor, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and hello to all the listeners.
I have seen some of the very well-known, highly publicized cults, particularly from the States, where, when the leader dies, maybe some of the followers take their own lives as well. And it's so scary and extreme what can happen in these situations.
Yeah, exactly. So some cults really have a kind of end of times type of prophecy. And that's not just in Christianity. So in some Hindu cults, you also have these experiences where the cult leader tells people that the world is going to end for whatever reason. And there is an expectation that at this end date, the leader will die and all their followers will die. Now, sometimes when that end date comes, like apparently yesterday was meant to be an end date for some people, yet we're all still here, then what happens to the cults? So sometimes the leaders take their own lives, and people either follow or in many cases don't follow. But also in cults, when the leader passes away, and they can pass away of natural causes, sometimes the cult is then led by one of their children or a person that they have ordained to follow them.
Oh, wow. And I mean, it's so shocking that even when revelations come to light after a cult leader goes, you would think that people would just go back to their lives. Is the reason that they don't go back to the lives is because the likelihood is when they're so far in, they've given up their lives. That cult has become their life.
Yes, exactly. So that is one of the big things about a cult, that we consider something to be a cult when the leader has particular knowledge, usually knowledge that other people don't have access to, or only a small group of people have access to. Usually the leader is getting divine knowledge either from a deity that they believe in, or because they just have insight that other people don't have. And then as the cult grows, so it encourages people to give their money to the cult, to break ties with the rest of their family and friends, to give more and more of their time to the cult, so that people become sucked in and it really becomes their entire life. Very often, there are also lots of explanations for why something was meant to happen and then doesn't happen. So very often it'll be things like, the devil intervened, or the believers didn't have enough faith, and that's why the end didn't actually take place.
I have to ask a question in the midst of this whole rapture conversation. Not last week, I keep feeling like it's a Monday today. Earlier in the week,
I know.
I was asking everybody, at what point does one's beliefs, be it religion, cultural, whatever it is, become a mental health crisis? And I'd love your thought on that, because now I'm seeing people who have gone to extremes with the rapture conversation, stories of people who have taken the lives of their own children and their families because the predicted raptures from previously did not happen and they needed it to come true. At what point does one's beliefs become a mental health crisis?
That is a wonderful question. I think it becomes a mental health crisis when the beliefs are not actually life-giving. In other words, the beliefs don't really let you flourish and do well in the world. So most of the world, well, I would say actually all world religions, have at the core of them a teaching that enables you to flourish, not to become incredibly wealthy or to have an easy life, but to have a meaning system that helps you make sense of suffering and difficulties, etc. What is problematic is when a belief system doesn't enable you to do that. And that's very often what we see in cults. Because they try to be so countercultural, because they try to tell us how the world is such a bad place, and how up until now everybody's misread the Bible or not read the Bhagavad Gita properly or not understood the Buddha correctly, they then give a teaching that really doesn't help you to cope
So what
with
I'm
the
going to do,
difficulties in life.
Professor, I'm going to ask my producer to bring you back in for us to talk about this because I'm so late for the news. But I think it is so critical because we're living in desperate times, and it is very easy for people to fall for things that literally can lead them to lose their lives. Thank you so much, Professor.
Every day, South Africans are being squeezed to make ends meet. That's why they're Still Good, a new online platform where you can save up to 65% on groceries by buying Still Good value bags, packed with groceries by leading retailers that are still perfectly good, just close to their sell-by date. You win by saving, retailers win by cutting food waste, and communities win as Still Good donates 10% of their earnings to food charities. Visit stillgood.co.za. Start getting more bang for your buck with Still Good.
It's almost time for Santon's best kept secret to be revealed. Step into an exclusive world of style at the Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger VIP sample sale at the Leonardo. Discover limited pieces, rare samples, and iconic fashion finds you won't get anywhere else. Legacy Lifestyle members are invited to an exclusive first look on Thursday, the 25th of September. That is today, and doors open to the public from tomorrow, Friday the 26th, to Sunday the 28th of September.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Running a business is tough. You need tools that just work. That's why more South African businesses are switching to Mac. At iStore, we make it easy with 4,000 Rands in added value when you switch. That's 3 years extended warranty and remote tech support, leaving you to focus on everything else. Switch to Mac with iStore, your expert partner. T's and C's apply. Mac at iStore. Run smooth as business should.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Hawks have once again pounced on Joburg City Power's headquarters, this time seeking details about a questionable 67 million rand contract. It's understood the probe is linked to a purchase order for electricity transformers in 2023. Well-placed sources have told EWN that although the 67 million rand was paid, the transformers were never delivered. The Hawks have confirmed a search and seizure was conducted as part of its ongoing investigation into City Power tenders. Alfara Mushwana reports.
EWN has seen a confidential purchase order that Johannesburg City Power sent to a contractor for several electricity transformers. The order specified that the transformers were to be delivered on the 22nd of December 2023, but insiders indicate that this never happened. A convoy of Hawks vehicles was spotted entering City Power headquarters this morning to collect evidence related to the 67 million rand purchase order. City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena has confirmed that the Hawks were seeking information on several questionable contracts.
They have been basically requesting some information now and then, and we have been cooperating, and we will, as City Power, be cooperating with any of the investigations, either by the Hawks or any other authorized legal entity of government.
Just 2 months ago, the Hawks visited City Power's offices as part of an investigation into other questionable contracts. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
The Road Accident Fund has announced the resumption of payments of outstanding claims, starting with those older than 180 days. The fund estimates the total value of claims in this category to be more than 20 billion rand and says over the past 2 weeks, it's already paid out more than 3 billion rand of these claims. The announcement follows last month's appointment of a new board for the entity. It also comes as Parliament gears up for the start of an inquiry next month into allegations of financial mismanagement at the fund. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The RAF's new board says it's done a comprehensive review of claims older than 180 days and it's giving priority to settling them. It expects to pay out more than 4 billion rand in claims every month as it seeks to reduce the number of claims waiting to be processed. The RAF says it's also put controls in place to ensure supporting documentation is reviewed promptly to avoid delays in making payments. The interim board, under the leadership of a former Treasury official, Kenneth Brown, is also pledging to make public bi-monthly reports detailing the progress made in payments. Acknowledging the numerous claims-related complaints it has received ahead of its inquiry into financial mismanagement at the RAF, Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts said last week these would not be considered since it falls outside the scope of its probe. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has heard that Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibia, had no authority to remove dockets from the KZN Political Killings Task Team. Sibia gave an instruction that 121 dockets be moved from the task team to police headquarters in Pretoria, halting the unit's investigations. Head of the SAPS's Legal Division, Major General Petronella van Rooyen, has been testifying at the Commission in Pretoria today. She says Sibia's decision to move the dockets without consulting KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was problematic.
Then it means there are things happening in the police that the provincial commissioner is accountable for, but he doesn't have any knowledge of that. So that is problematic. It undermines the authority of a provincial commissioner to effectively manage the police within that province.
The South African Weather Service has issued a yellow level 2 warning for severe thunderstorms in some parts of Gauteng and the northwest. Disruptive rain that may lead to localized flooding is expected to make landfall this afternoon. Forecaster Letlogonolo Thobela warns that the storm system will also bring with it strong winds as well as hail.
In our weather for today, we're expecting isolated to scattered chance of showers and thunder showers over most parts of the eastern areas of the country, covering the Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, as well as the northwest and the northern parts of the Northern Cape, as well as parts of the northern areas of Limpopo. A scattered chance of showers and thunder showers expected over the central as well as the southern parts of Gauteng.
And in Norway, authorities have seized a drone operated by a 50-year-old man near Oslo's airport. The man was not arrested but will be questioned by police. The move comes after drones led to several flight disruptions in Norway and Denmark this week. Overnight Monday to Tuesday, air traffic at the Oslo airport was suspended for about 3 hours after a possible drone sighting was reported. Gold is trading at $3,756.18 an ounce. The rand is at 17.31 to the dollar, 23.27 to the pound, 20.32 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.14 a barrel.
Heading towards Bedfordview, that's leaving the Edenvale area. Slow-moving traffic, R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. Also bumper-to-bumper traffic traveling through Bedfordview heading towards Germiston, N3 southbound. That's between the Gilulis interchange and the Geldenes interchange, causing delays there. There's also slow-moving traffic approaching the intersection of Beyersnoordie and the N1. That's in Rand Park Ridge due to faulty traffic lights.
It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with scattered showers and thunder showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 20 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The Hawks have once again pounced on Joburg City Power's headquarters, this time seeking details about a questionable 67 million rand contract.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Nine minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to be jumping into a conversation with Wendy Nola in our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows, in this hour. Somebody did send, as you guys always do, assist. Somebody says the saying is, Elke pot het hom deksel. From Teresa and Reicha Park. Thank you so much. That is the saying. Every pot has its lid. So on the conversation of dating below your tax bracket, I am fully of the belief that if somebody wants you, man or woman, they will move heaven, earth. They will even move tax bracket to be with you. That's my belief. And when I say move tax bracket, they will even move preferences to be with you. That's my belief on this love thing. A person will move mountains to be with you if they want to be with you. And to the person say, please update us on the rapture. I'm still here. Do you know if anyone is not accounted for? Sichen Douglasdale. Douglasdale, we have all been raptured. We're now in the afterlife. It's just, this is where we are now. On a serious note, I'm going to ask Professor to come back to talk to us because we all seriously need to be so careful out there. Get in touch with us for Nola Knows with Wendy Nola. 011 8830702. SMS us 31702. Tweets at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Nola Knows.
Time for our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows. Wendy Nola, happy Thursday. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, yes, I'm just fine, thanks. How are you doing?
I am doing well, and I know that this hour gets super, super busy, so let us jump straight into it.
Okay, so I don't know about you, Relebogile, but I have seen lots of very obviously AI composed emails in my inbox of late. So remember, not too long ago, I was complaining that a lot of people take no care when they when they send their emails to me asking for help. There's no, punctuation, and it's just all sort of just vomited out. And I was trying to now pick through it and figure out what it is. Well, now some of those people are outsourcing the composition to ChatGPT or Grok or whatever their preferred language-based model is, and it's quite a shock to the system, and and it's quite obvious what's going on, and it tends to be quite American. And I even had last week, listen to this person. I've got this form on my website, wendynola.co.za, which is there to prompt people to give me all the information that I need to take up their case if I am able to. And this person just dropped an attachment in there, and it was an entire thread that he'd had on ChatGPT. First of all, composing the letter of complaint to one of the travel club companies, and being quite assertive, and then secondly saying, okay, now turn all of that into a complaint to Wendy Nola.
Oh my gosh.
Then it was like, no, make it shorter. No, still shorter. And dropped it in. So yeah, I then turned my one of choice is Grok. So I started having a conversation with Grok saying, so how many people ask you to put what you've come up with into their style? And the answer was maybe 10 to 15% of people. Some folks lean on AI to churn out content they pass off as their own, missing the nuance of authenticity. It's like they want the polish without the soul. This is Grok now, I'm quoting. The world craves genuine voices, but the temptation to outsource to AI for a quick fix is strong, especially when people prioritize speed or perfection over originality. And we're seeing this everywhere, in academia, in corporate, in everything. And Grok's advice was, balancing AI's help with the personal flair is the trick. Use it as a tool, not a ghostwriter. And I said, back now I'm having this conversation with the machine, right? I'm fully aware. I said, I see it as the problem that people generally express themselves quite badly in terms of language, punctuation, and the rest, and not a lot of attention to detail or care. And the AI models are not equipped, they're not trained to be that bad. So no matter how much you can prompt Grok or ChatGPT to come across like your authentic self, it lacks the ability to stoop to really, really bad composition. And I got a ha from Grok. He said, yeah, people want their voice, but they don't realize that their voice includes flaws which AI isn't wired to copy. Anyway, so then it went on to say, AI like me is built to be coherent. So even when someone asks me to sound like them, I struggle to replicate that raw, unpolished chaos. I can dial down the formality and sprinkle in some slang, but mimicking authentic human sloppiness, that's a tall order. My circuits lean towards clarity, not catastrophe. It's like asking a chef to burn the toast just right.
I get it.
And then it said, AI is like a karaoke machine. It can carry a tune, but it's not going to nail your drunk friends off-key warbling at 2 a.m. People lean on tools like me to sound slick, but the world is craving the raw, unfiltered you, warts, typos, and all. So it seems to me that if you wanted to come across as less AI-driven, you should actually get stuck in there and make a few mistakes.
I see.
Don't be so perfect. Anyway, so I found my little exchange, and I've left out a lot of it with Grok on this topic, quite fascinating. But to get to the topic, last week, Gail Schimmel, who is CEO of the Advertising Regulatory Board, the ARB, reached out to me saying, please, can we talk about why using ChatGPT to argue with decision-making bodies like the ARB is a really bad idea. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds like a really good topic. What are they seeing from consumers who are complaining about advertising, and possibly other regulators, ombuds officers say, who are hearing from consumers who have a gripe with their bank or their insurer, etc. So I'm hoping at this point that we have Gail Schimmel with us.
She's not with us yet, but let's do this. We're going to take a break, Wendy Nola. When we come back, let's pick up with Gail Schimmel, CEO of the Advertising Regulatory Board.
Are you ready? What a question. It seems insane that suddenly you're supposed to know all the answers overnight. When to settle down, what cover you need, how to invest, why you should bother. So, if you're unsure, unsteady, and unstoppable, chat to a Liberty accredited financial advisor to take your first step today. Unready, set, go. Liberty. In it with you. All of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer and authorized FSP and part of the Standard Bank Group. Terms and conditions, risks and limitations apply.
Traffic is trafficking. The robots aren't AI, but more like an eye roll, and service delivery isn't delivering. But luckily, Take-A-Lot is. Shop anything from beauty and sport to tech and toys at everyday low prices and get it delivered to your door faster than you can get home, even when you take the back roads. A delivery so quick, the speed thrills. Halala with no limits, just the open road of happiness before you. Take-A-Lot, happy delivered.
Be in the right place at the right time with Betway's jackpot slots. Stand to win your share of millions of rands in cash every week. Bet on selected slots every Thursday and Friday night between 7 and 10 p.m. and you could be our next big winner. The more you play, the more chances to win. Get way more only at Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. NRGP Counseling Line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
In fitness, as in finance, endurance is key. If you're 55 and older, you can get an interest rate of up to 10.62% with a NetBank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Now feel the earn. Invest in under 2 minutes on the Money app and get money fit with NetBank. See money differently. NetBank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. For more info, visit netbank.co.za.
702 and corporates that care with Tracker are talking about Tracker's partnership with Matthew, an initiative helping South Africa's future leaders succeed in maths and science.
We have been part of this incredible country for the last 29 years. South Africa has helped us grow into the organisation that we are and has helped us be part of the economy of this country. So fundamentally, we now have to give back. We have to make sure that not just for the last 29 years, but for the future 29 years, we're participating in that conversation. Secondly, Bongani, Tracker is growing exponentially at the moment. We're employing at all levels within the organisation, from top to bottom in essence. So what we're actually looking for as part of that growth fundamental is to make sure that we have the right people coming into the organisation. We can either be part of the solution or we can be part of the problem or do nothing.
Tracker, protecting futures by investing in STEM education. Visit matthew.co.za to learn more. 702, let's walk the talk.
702.
Nola knows.
19 minutes after 2 o'clock, we continue with our consumer rights feature with Wendy Nola. Nola knows. And we've been discussing all these AI tools, the chat GPTs and Groks that churn out these perfect content pieces. 011-883-0702 in the WhatsApp line, 072-702-1702. I mean, Wendy, I'm thinking about the fact that everybody's into the concept of authenticity and organic. Gail Schimmel is on the line with us, CEO at the Advertising Regulatory Board. Gail, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Gail. Could you please just start by briefly explaining how the ARB operates and what consumers who have a gripe with a form of advertising are required to do when lodging a complaint with your office?
Okay, so the Advertising Regulatory Board, or ARB, is the body that you complain to when you're upset about the content of advertising. So if you've seen something misleading or something offensive, or there are various, there are a whole lot of different things people get upset about advertising about, but that is basically the work of the Advertising Regulatory Board. And what usually happens is we have an online form on our website, and people can use that online form to complain, or, and most relevant to this conversation, sometimes they send us an email on our email address to complain about the content of advertising.
Okay, and what have you started seeing in the last 6 months or so that speaks of AI having a strong hand in the composing of those emails?
So this is what's been so interesting. Over the last 6 months, we've realized we picked up we weren't feeling so good about our work, and we talked about it, and we picked up that people were being much, much ruder to us. And at first we just thought, well, maybe people are more frustrated in life and things like that. But we picked up a pattern in the words used, and it all came together when we received an appeal against a particular finding, where we received a really complicated appeal about 15 minutes after we'd sent this long finding. And we suddenly realized AI is doing a lot of the communicating for consumers. And with that realization, then went back to these rude emails. And we started playing around a bit ourselves with asking AI to respond to us. And we realized that this is AI. This is AI being told to write a strongly worded letter to the ARB. And then you see the same phrases coming up. You see incompetent coming up a lot. You see we're going to report you coming up a lot. You see a particular way that AI likes to set out these letters coming up. It likes to tell us that we don't understand the law. That's one of the big things we've been seeing.
Interesting around that we're going to report you, because a lot of the responses, unless you're very clear with your prompts, will be quite American. So who are they threatening to report the ARB for over your incompetence and lack of understanding of the law?
Well, that's one of the funniest parts, because as you know, we're a self-regulatory organization. We run by industry. I report to a board, but the ARB itself doesn't report to anybody. And they're threatening to report us to Parliament. They're threatening Parliament. So we see Parliament. Yeah, we see bodies. We see the National Consumer Commission, which is another consumer organization that we're not accountable to. So it's almost like AI has this format that it likes to follow where it threatens to report people to their superiors, but it can't find our superiors, so it makes something up. And obviously maybe it's going to report us to Wendy Nola every now and then.
You must tell me if you get
I'm sorry, that is so funny. I will definitely put Wendy in her place if that happens. I'll be like, Wendy, really now people are reporting up to you.
No, I mean it's funny, but when we chatted off air, Gail, you said that you said they're quoting the wrong case law, the wrong law that possibly doesn't even apply in this country, and also it's making them feel clever because it's so beautifully worded, but it's having the opposite effect when it lands. And I would imagine human nature being as it is when you've got a whole lot of complaints, that you're not going to want to prioritize the ones which are clearly written by AI and are downright rude on top of that.
So this is a very interesting thing, and I think this is the danger because people are using it to write responses. So we will have maybe said we can't investigate. Maybe, for example, we've said we can't investigate because the ad's no longer running, and all we do is pull ads, so there's no point in us investigating. And then they'll get AI to draft a response. And they think the response is really clever because it does sound clever. It quotes things. We've seen complaints where they've quoted the wrong code, like you say. It quotes things, it finds laws, and they think it sounds really clever. They feel like they've got a lawyer in their pockets. But the difference is if you had a real lawyer, the real lawyer would say to you, you don't have a case. AI will never say to you, you don't have a case. It will keep fighting and fighting and fighting if you tell it to, obviously relying on your prompts. So one of the things, for example, we're seeing is we write a letter explaining why we can't investigate, and they come back. And then we write a letter again explaining why we can't investigate, trying to put it in a different way because we think they're not understanding, and they come back. And we've realized that what's happening, they're just putting it into AI and getting response after response. And we respond to everything humanly, And like you said, exactly, while we do respond to everyone, we lose the will. We lose the will to engage in good faith with a consumer that we can see is not thinking about it themselves. People are cleverer than they realize. If you read our letter and you understand it, maybe you've understood it because you are a clever human being. Don't feed it into an AI and ask that AI to be cleverer than you, because that AI is going to give you the letter you want, the strongly worded letter telling us what to do with ourselves. But the fact that you understood our reasoning in the first place is because you actually are cleverer than AI.
Yeah, and you want to really hear from a human, not AI, presumably in these kinds of cases.
Yeah. This is another thing. When you write us something in your own words that tells us why you genuinely were upset by an ad, that's always going to be clearer than AI trying to interpret you, trying to tell you why you were upset with the ad. The AI is not a person. It's not upset in the same way you are. And we're probably going to be able to do more meaningful work with your badly worded, simple vocabulary, whatever the problem is with your comms, but your comms that come from your heart. We are probably going to be able to do more to pull the ad to help you when we can see what your complaint really was, rather than what AI thought it should be.
I love that. That is such a beautiful quote. And I'm sitting listening to that thinking, maybe it'd be nice if they wanted to do something to improve it, and I would love people to say, please write this exactly the same sentiment. Don't change the tone or content. Just fix my punctuation and maybe put a few gaps in it, or don't write this all in solid caps or something like that. I would love it if people used it for that. But the rest, as you say, we really want to hear from the real person and how they really feel, not, as you say, how AI feels about it, because that just distorts the whole process and it doesn't actually do them any favors in the end.
Well, when you're quoting the wrong law and when you're quoting the English code of advertising practice or whatever it is, you think you sound clever, but you actually look a little bit stupid. That's the truth of the matter.
Yeah. Do you think talking about this is going to make any difference, Gail? That's the $1 million question.
You know, Wendy, if this conversation, if one listener hears it and we get one less mad rant from AI as a result of this conversation, then it's going to make my life a little bit happier, because it's wearing on our nerves. It's helped that we've identified the problem now. It helps that we know that it's AI and not actual people calling us incompetent. But it's really horrible when you're trying to do a job that involves helping people and you're driven by that need to help people, to then constantly be ranted at, be called stupid, to have to respond to these endless letters that AI can churn out in 1 second, and we have to spend hours coming up with a nice response to try and make you listen. You know, it's wearing on us a little bit. So if we stop one person doing it, then I think we've done our work.
Well, let's hope so. And one last question, Gail. Have you got to the point where you politely respond to one of those AI rants by saying, and we'd really like to help you, but this is you've clearly composed this with the help of AI, and it's not an appropriate response, or whatever polite way you have of saying it? Have you got to the point where you responding to people with, we see you, we know what this is, and please don't do it?
It's interesting. We discussed this in the office this morning. The furthest I've gone so far is saying, one consumer came to us and quoted our mandate at us, and it was completely the wrong mandate. It wasn't anything we've ever claimed to do. And I responded to that one and I said, your AI seems to have misquoted what our mandate is, and therefore we do not feel ourselves obliged to fulfill that mandate because it's not our mandate. And that consumer came back and then did a long rant, and at the end of it, it said, she said it's quoted from an attorney's website, so it should be your mandate. And then at the end of the letter, it said, I've written this whole letter with AI and I don't see a problem with it.
Okay, there's the problem.
So we are considering saying, you know, we're picking up that you're using AI to respond to us, and as a result, it's not really making a lot of sense. But you know, people are entitled to use AI. We're all trying to find the ways that AI can make our lives easier. And like you said, there are circumstances in which maybe it will make their letter a little bit better, a little bit more coherent, and that's good use of AI. There are good uses of AI. So we don't want to tell people not to use AI at all and try and punish them for using AI. We understand that they're using the AI because they feel insecure about their own communications. What we want to say, though, is don't. We want to hear from you.
All right, I'm going to ask you to pause there, Gail. We're going to come back to the feature. We're going to go to news and then pick up when we come back. It's just after 2:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon. What's happening there by the Maganga Commission?
Well, Relebogile, a very good afternoon. Head of the SAPS's legal division, Petronella van Rooyen, has come out in support of National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula as well as KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today, van Rooyen provided legal insight into issues of contention related to the instruction to disband the KZN Political Killings Task Team. The Hawks have once again pounced on Joburg City Power's headquarters, this time seeking details about a questionable 67 million rand contract. It's understood the probe is linked to a purchase order for electricity transformers in 2023. Well-placed sources have told EWN that although the money was paid, the transformers were never delivered. And Electricity Minister Hosientsho Ramokgopa has committed to ending load reduction in the next year. Load reduction refers to the intentional interruption of electricity in specific areas where the network is overburdened. He has been speaking at a media briefing in Pretoria about the Electricity Department's interventions today. Those are the headlines, this EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in Bedford View, we still have about a 20-minute delay N3 southbound between Linksfield Road and the Geldenays interchange. Also coming from Edenvale heading into Bedford View, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. R24 westbound between the Edenvale off-ramp and the Kilulis interchange. While if you're heading towards Midrand, that's leaving Alex. Traffic remains a bit sluggish. N3 northbound between Marlborough Drive and the Butlu interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Rand Park Ridge area at Bears Nodia and the N1. Traffic lights also still not working in Edenville at Morafontein Road and Van Riebeck. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Attridgeville. Attridgeville was established in 1939 and named after philanthropist Myrtle Attridge. The Mendy War Memorial in the township commemorates the over 600 black South African soldiers who drowned when the troop carrier SS Mandy sank in the English Channel during the First World War. Former Deputy Chief Justice Dikang Moseneke grew up in Attridgeville, as did middle distance runner Sydney Marie. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including Attridgeville.
To celebrate 25 years of helping you live the Premier life, FNB Premier is giving you a chance to win a 14-day European tour experience and other cool monthly prizes. Open any FNB Premier account from September to 31 December 2025. Switch your salary, swipe or tap a minimum of 2,000 Rand per month for 3 months straight. Spend and win with FNB Premier. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and competition rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Save more on the brands you love at Dis-Chem. Stay fresh and confident all day with 2+1 cheapest free on any 150ml Shield deodorants and 50ml roll-ons. And treat your hair with our fantastic 2+1 cheapest free on any Tresemme hair care products. Plus, enjoy 2+1 cheapest free on any Lifebuoy products. T's and C's apply. Don't miss out. Offers valid until 19 October. Only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
The Wits School of Governance develops leaders and innovators who reimagine governance, strengthen institutions, and drive inclusive growth across Africa. Your journey to impact starts there, from postgraduate diplomas to masters, PhD programs, and executive education tailored for today's wicked problems. They equip change makers in government, civil society, and the private sector with the tools to lead boldly and with purpose. Governance matters. Visit wsg.ac.za and apply today.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
The Akani Simbini Foundation is dedicated to building brighter futures for children by focusing on sport, education, and welfare. Tomorrow on 702 Drive, we'll be in conversation with the Akani Simbini Foundation to find out how they're uplifting the next generation and how the Dis-Chem Foundation is helping fuel their mission to empower South Africa's youth. Don't miss this inspiring discussion about the power of collaboration. Remember, every swipe of your Dis-Chem or Dis-Chem Baby City Benefit Card supports many great initiatives across the country. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts, only on 702.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, does it also feel like a Monday to you?
Feel like a Monday?
It feels like a Monday to me. I mean,
No.
we were at work
Not even a
yesterday,
little bit.
but it had the Sunday feel.
Sorry, not
Not
feeling
for
it,
you.
I'm afraid. No. It's
a normal day.
Wednesday yesterday, Thursday today, Friday tomorrow.
Um,
That's the way my head clock
yes.
is clocking.
What's coming up on your show today?
Well, on this Monday, Thursday. Just kidding. So we're expecting storms in Gauteng today. People have been saying, when are the rains coming?
Yes.
Particularly people who have allergy and hay fever difficulties. But now we're not getting rain, we're getting storms. How severe, we'll find out at about 3:20. Big discussion earlier today, very interesting one on Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa about the proposal of the Mpumalanga legislature to rename the Kruger National Park. To the best of my knowledge, it's not a provincial park, so it's not up to them anyway. They have their own parks, which fall under Mpumalanga Parks Board. But anyway, but what is the brand value attached to the Kruger National Park? The man who knows all about brands and values, Tebe Kalafeng, he's with us at 10 to 4 to talk about that. We'll get the latest from the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Not the same drama, perhaps, Relebogile's Generals Mkwanazi and Masamula, but some very interesting things coming out about the legal framework within which the police operate. So we'll talk about that at about 5:10 with Oren Singh. We are going to focus on a story that may sound a little obscure to people and a bit dry, but there was a very interesting editorial in Business Day today about how South Africa is 70% of the world's chrome. Vital metal, but the real value is in the production of something called ferrochrome. The thing is, we don't do any of that. We just export it for other countries to add value and make money. Now, why are we doing that? We're going to talk to somebody who's in that industry, because I think what that story tells us will tell us some other things about why, in the midst of all our frustration around unemployment and slow economic growth, we are often the authors of our own misfortune. So before we blame the White House, let's clean our house.
Oh, I'm tired of hearing about stories from America. I said it the other day.
Yes.
I said I'm American news fatigued and I can't seem to avoid it. But
that's where the remote comes in.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, indeed.
In fact, I need physio on my thumb. To change it so much.
All right, 7:02 Drive with John Perlman coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
7:02.
Nola knows.
20 minutes to 3 o'clock, we continue with our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows, with Wendy Nola. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Wendy, just to close off on the conversation that we were having with Gail, CEO at the Advertising Regulatory Board.
Yeah, just to say, that far more seriously, there have been several cases in the US where the courts have sanctioned attorneys for submitting AI-generated briefs with bogus citations. I won't go through the cases, but there are a few of them. In fact, in late 2022, a Colorado attorney was temporarily suspended for using fake case law citations in motion. He had used ChatGPT to help him write the motion, and ChatGPT provided fake case law citations. So you really, if you use it, you've got to check. So I'll sometimes use it as a journalist, but if I get case law or anything like that, I will then go and search for the Reuters report, the traditional media, established media report to check all the facts, check it really happened. And I've been, almost been caught a few times where I've seen that this law come up and I go, great, and then to discover it was actually scrapped at on the day it was meant to be signed into law. It never ever came into law, but AI has that it did. So use it, but check. It's, as somebody said to me not long ago, it still has its training wheels on. Proceed with caution. Don't let it have complete, you don't give it complete authority to be you, to speak as you, because sooner or later that's going to get you into trouble. And I thought, after us, speaking to Gail about their experience at the Advertising Regulatory Board, I happened to be interacting with Narosha Massetti, who is the National Financial Ombudsman's lead ombud for the banking and credit divisions. And I said to her, since I'm chatting to you, this is what the ARB is experiencing. Are your adjudicators experiencing anything like that? And she came back straight away to say, yes, we are. And immediately see that ChatGPT wrote the response. Often the complainant will cite completely irrelevant case law. So I would imagine that other regulators are seeing the same thing. And this is just a cautionary tale. Yes, we love that it can save us time and make us sound clever and all the rest, but do not trust it implicitly. And also know that people on the receiving end, whoever they are, whoever you're trying to impress or admonish or whatever, they're going to know. They're going to know, and just to bear that in mind. And that's where I'd like to end that conversation, unless, of course, our listeners want to share their experiences with us.
All right, 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Maybe you've had your own issues. With regards to some of your issues, anything that becomes an A4 page of a WhatsApp, I'm not going to be able to read on air. So please do your best to summarize your queries, because there's one that is so long and I'm going to absolutely struggle. Here's a WhatsApp message that says, afternoon, please ask Wendy, what advice can she give me? I'm paying my credit card debt that is handed over to the lawyers. It's over 7 years that I am paying. I'm a pensioner now and can't continue paying. Is there anything I can do? Because it seems to be a never-ending story. This is from Palisa.
Yeah, this is the common scenario. Did you say Palisa?
Yes.
Palisa's experience is very common. So I'm guessing what's happened is that she's paying an amount that's not enough to reduce the capital balance. So she's paying just interest every month, and she will be paying that forever. What I suggest is, and sorry, for people listening thinking, sure, 7 years that must have prescribed. No, she's continued to pay every month. It's only, debt will only prescribe, certain debts will only prescribe if they've been dormant for 3 years. So you haven't acknowledged owing the money, you haven't made any payment, you haven't been summoned in respect of it. So this debt, old as it is has been kept alive by Palisa doing the right thing in making her payments. To get to her question, what could she do? I would suggest that she writes to the debt collector to say, I'm a pensioner now, I'm struggling with this, I've been paying faithfully for years. Please could you give me a settlement, a reasonable settlement offer and a reasonable time period in which to pay it. And if that's not successful, she's happy to email me and give me details of the original debt. And sometimes it helps to go to the original company that handed her over to say, please intervene here. She's paid her dues, and can we come to can you make a settlement offer that will draw a line under this for her?
Okay, thank you so much for that one. I think it is quite important, like you said, to try and negotiate, Wendy, with that one. One person on the WhatsApp line says, I used AI to correct my spelling, and many times when I replied to Gen Zs to write it into Gen Z slang. Fun fact is one of the Demon Hunters song. One of the Demon Hunters songs, chat was utilized. Okay, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
There's so many. Yeah. Even now there are AI artists that there's one that has a record deal right now making money. So chat is being used. We have another break. The lines are open for your consumer rights issues. 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line 072-702-1702.
Psst. Hey, no longer feeling like the man you used to be?
The man who has inside jokes with complete strangers.
The fact is, 95% of men with low testosterone go untreated.
Vitamin High Performance Supplements for Men helps recharge energy, regain lean muscle, and reload performance. Available at all good pharmacies and Vitalamin.co.za.
Vitalamin. Don't get older, get better.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSB and registered credit provider.
Checkers Little Shop is back with 46 new minis. Get one free when you swipe and spend 200 Rand on deals like Jacob's Kroning or Gold Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams, any for 149.99 each. And Fruit 100% fruit juice blend, 1.5 litre, any two for 89 Rand. Plus, stand to win a trip to Legoland Dubai. Simply shop and swipe to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers. T's and C's apply.
Got big dreams for your small business? The Hollywood Foundation is here to make them a reality with the Bambelela Business Awards. SMMEs in Gauteng. This is your chance to grab a share of 1 million Rand in funding. The awards recognize and reward the contributions small businesses make to growing and transforming our economy. Submit your entries today. Applications close on 4 October 2025. Submissions will be reviewed by a panel of expert judges. Enter now at www.hollywoodfoundation.co.za.
The Akani Simbine Foundation is dedicated to building brighter futures for children by focusing on sport, education and welfare. This Friday on 702 Drive, we'll be in conversation with the Akani Simbine Foundation to find out how they're uplifting the next generation and how the Dis-Chem Foundation is helping fuel their mission to empower South Africa's youth. Don't miss this inspiring discussion about the power of collaboration. Remember, every swipe of your Dis-Chem or Dis-Chem Baby City benefit card supports many great initiatives across the country. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community. Every swipe counts. Only on 702.
702.
Nola knows.
We continue with our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows. The line is open, 011-883-0702, and the WhatsApp line, 0727021702. We have Sipho in Vosloorus. Sipho, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, Lebo and Wendy and your listeners. I just want to find out, man, if a vehicle drove into a potholes and then you do an insurance claim, and then the assessor goes and assess the vehicle, and then he notes certain things on the report, but then upon when they say to you, I need to come pick up the vehicle, then we find out that there is a damage also on the oil sump underneath, which subsequently caused the gearbox to have some oil leaks. And then the insurance wants to distance themselves from that. How do I fight that? Because according to me, the undercarriage was supposed to be assessed as well, because the vehicle drove into potholes. So can I just have an advice from you, Wendy?
So clearly, the point of having an insurance policy is to protect you from that sort of thing happening and an unforeseen incident, and they're supposed to put you back in the position that you were before. So this boils down to proving or putting the onus on the insurer to disprove that the oil leak that your car experienced, that happened to your car, was as a direct result of cluttering into that pothole. And it's not an unusual unusual consequence, right, of going into a pothole. That is something you would expect. So did they give you any reasoning? You say they are now distancing themselves from that consequential damage. Have they provided any evidence as to say why, on what basis are they doing that?
No, they didn't provide, because my question was to them, when the assessment happened, they gave me an assessment report, but it doesn't say anything about the undercarriage. But then when I realized this was about 2 weeks ago, I found out that my sump was damaged. But now today, I went back to where the vehicle is. The vehicle is still with them. I found out that the vehicle, what they did on the sump, they've painted the sump now black. Now, my question is, why would you distance yourself from this whole thing, but you go on and give your service provider a go-ahead just to paint the sump?
No, I would like to help you with this one. If you can just get my email details and send me as much information as you have, what you've said now, and with dates and details of your car, your policy number, and obviously which insurance company you're with, and I'll do my best to help you, okay?
Okay, Wendy. I will really appreciate it.
Please stay on the line,
You're welcome.
Sipho. I'm passing you through to our producer to take the details. Vincent in Harties, go ahead.
Good day, Wendy. My name is Vincent. Just want to inquire something, please, pertaining to credit cards. I currently have a credit card for many, many years. And the bank itself came to me the other day and said, sorry, they're just now going to increase my interest on the credit card by 4%. And the main reason is because of the lending out acts, etc., and because I've got the card before 1991. Now suddenly they say, yeah, here's an agreement. and we're going to raise the fee with an additional 4% interest.
I haven't heard of this, Vincent. I'm going to have to investigate for sure. You're obviously with one of the big 4 banks, right? Legacy banks.
Exactly. It is one of the big banks. And with this, I sent an email back to them and said, sorry, I've got an existing agreement with you with an existing interest rate. And it's an agreement that you must uphold. And I disagree that you are going to raise it with an additional 4%.
I would please send me that as soon as you can with what they said, what you said, obviously your card number, when you took it out, and hopefully we can come back next week with the answer, because it's obviously going to affect other people who've had their cards since before 1991 as well. So I'm very interested in the answer to that. Please get onto that as soon as you come off air, Vincent. I'm really want to take that up ASAP.
Thank you so much, Vincent. Stay on the line for our producer for that situation, and let's see what the feedback is, because I think many of us are going to be interested in that outcome. There is a WhatsApp message that says, "Hi Wendy, what can I do regarding a timeshare levy that I cannot afford to pay any longer? I requested the resort to sell my timeshare 3 years ago, and still today it has not been sold. Even though I'm prepared to drop the price hugely, it is a peak December week and still no takers. What can I do?" Sharon in River Club.
This is a really disappointing and frustrating issue for South Africans. We had a whole commission of inquiry by the National Consumer Commission years ago, and the Consumer Goods and Services Ombudsman was tasked with helping people, especially elderly people who took the timeshare out many years ago, and now simply they don't have that they're on their own. Many of them, they're not taking holidays. They're on limited incomes and cannot afford the levy anymore, and then they're locked in. So the Consumer Goods and Services Ombudsman, I would say, is an avenue. There's also an attorney in Cape Town who specializes in getting people out of these contracts. She has a reduced fee, but there is a fee. But most of these big timeshare companies, they won't even, they don't consider themselves answerable to me. Well, answerable, yes, but letting people out of jail free, no, they're not interested in that. They normally come back and say, well, you then got to pay this huge fee to get out of it, and that's also, a fee that they can't afford. So please, you can. Let's see. You can send it to me. I'll get some opinion from the Ombudsman. I haven't referred a case to them for ages on these timeshare things, but I have been dealing with the attorney in Cape Town. I can share her details, get her opinion at least, and let you know what that is and what it might cost you in a fee. But I'll certainly find some form of help for you. You shouldn't be in this situation. It's very anxiety-inducing as well.
I'm going to read a message, Wendy, in response to, and thank you to the Sharon and River Club. Please, Sharon, go to NOLA, KNOWLER.co.za, and you're able to contact there.
Wendy Nola,
yes, sorry, wendynola.co.za, and you will be able to contact there. Just make 702 in your subject line with all of the details with your issue. This one says, regarding the interest rate on my credit card, FNB advised I qualify for an increase on my limit, but when you accept the increased limit, they increase the interest by 4%. That's Janine and Rudapert. So maybe that's what it is referring to, Wendy. And I'm mentioning the bank because they're not complaining, but I thought that could maybe help guide with what happens next.
She asked for an increase in the credit limit. So she wants more credit.
So she's saying that FNB said, hey, you qualify for an increase on your limit. But when you accept the increase, the increase comes with a 4% interest. So maybe it's linked to that.
Which is hefty.
Yes.
It could be, and we'll give all the answers next week for sure.
Perfect.
Vincent, if you're still listening, get tapping.
Get going. This is a big one. Wendy Nola, thank you so much. Back together next week.
Thank you.
Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Noflex gel.
Trust Noflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Noflex gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Noflex gel.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel and higher strength Norflex Gel Fort. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. Conversations or podcast, primemediaplus.com, or download the app. Belief matters. For that feature, make sure you send your recommendations or the things you're curious about 702 Afternoons at 702.co.za. Back tomorrow, it's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The SAPS's legal head comes out in support of Mkhwanazi, and Ramokgopa vows to bring an end to load reduction. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Head of the SAPS's legal division, Petronella van Rooyen, has come out in support of National Police Commissioner Fani Masemula and KZN Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.